I believe that you are able to do exceedingly abundantly, far above all I could ask or think. Believe, yes, I believe. You say, I believe that you are able to do exceedingly abundantly, far above all I could.
I am so excited because the Step Out TV shows are back live on T2i TV. And for those who don't know, Step Out is a series of interviews and motivational segments designed to bring the best out of you and your business. Therefore, we have the following TV programs. Our first TV program, which is our flagship program, dubbed Step Out with Oscar Bimpong, is designed to interview consultants, experts, talented people, and those doing exceptionally well in their communities. The second one is Step Out SME Focus. This is where we interview business owners and showcase their products and services. The third one is Step Out Youth Impact Zone. This is where we interview young people succeeding against all odds to serve as an inspiration to other young people. And the last one is Step Out Authors Corner. And this is where we interview authors to share what their book is about to the world. Join us every week at 7 p.m. GMT. Like T2i TV on Facebook and subscribe to 759-1152983 or +233 55 580 3924 or email info@traintoinspire.com. T2i TV. We engage, educate, enlighten, and empower.
Welcome to another exciting edition of the Step Out with Oscar Bimpong show, and today is another exciting day. Today, if you are watching us live, I want you to share this to somebody because our guest, you need to listen to this man. He's got a story to share, and that story, I think you shouldn't be listening alone. Just call somebody, send a link to somebody, talk to somebody for them to join, because I think it's going to be an exciting discussion. Now, before I go on, as usual, I always talk about sponsors. And T2i TV and Step Out with Oscar Bimpong on all the Step Out shows are powered by Train to Inspire Consultancy. Train to Inspire Consultancy is your business training and consulting firm. Then also P&Q Personnel, your #1 agency for hiring healthcare assistants and nurses based in the UK. Also ALS Global Shipping and Logistics, your trusted import and export company based in Accra. ZPay Ghana Limited, your remittance and mobile money company based in Ghana. And also Kudu Business Support, your web or graphic design, app development, and for all your social media management. Now, if you really want to speak to any of these sponsors, there is a number scrolling on the taskbar. Just take their number and connect to them. If you tell them that you got the number from T2i TV, you are more likely to get a good deal. Now, if you want to sponsor the show, if you want to really advertise on this show, you are welcome. There is a number scrolling on the screen. Take the number and connect to us. Now, the reason why we want you to support this platform is that this platform is giving a voice to African people. I always say it's a platform for Africans by Africans. And for us to really grow and for us to get to where we really want to be in terms of impacting the lives of Africans, both in Africa and in the diaspora, you have to invest in us as well. And we will also invest in you. This is the kind of support we need from you, because we believe that if we work together, all of us can succeed together. Now, I want to go straight to business because today I don't want to waste much time. I have got a man that this man has got a story to share. We are telling that this time we are not waiting for anybody to tell our stories on our behalf. We have taken the mantle to tell the stories by our own selves. Now, with this man that I'm talking about, he is a Democratic candidate for the Assam Madison City Council. Yes. And what are we going to talk about? We are going to talk about his journey from a village in the Gambia to the US and as a Democratic candidate for the State Assembly. He is in the person of Alda Samba Balda. Please welcome to Step Out with Oscar Bimpong, and you are live on T2i TV.
Thank you, Oscar. Happy to be here.
I'm also happy to have you on the show, and I think I'm just really excited because of today's discussion. How has your day been?
So far, it's been going pretty good. I started with a meeting with a local television station here to talk about an upcoming advertisement that I will be running. As you may note, our primaries will be August 11. So I am super busy, you know, on campaign. So that's how my day got started. And so it's just around 2 p.m. here in the Midwest of the United States. So I have a series of other meetings lined up and some campaign work to do.
Wow. So today is, this is your second interview for the day, right?
Yes.
Wow. What a busy day for you then. Then not to waste your time, let me go straight to business. Now tell me about yourself growing up.
So for your introduction, my name is Sambo Balde. I am an immigrant from the West African nation of the Gambia. I have lived in the United States now for 20 years. Growing up in Gambia, I came from the rural areas. So I came from a nomadic family, a Fulani family, who predominantly are herders, like farmers. So growing up in the Gambia, I grew up in the rural areas, did my started my primary school there, then went to the urban areas in the capital city, Banjul, where I finished my primary school. Then from there, I went to a boarding school, again in the rural areas in the town called Janjambure, or other people calls it Makati. So was there for 5 years. From there, I moved back to the urban areas. I was in Banjul again for 2 years to do my sixth form and things like that. So 20 years ago was when I decided to immigrate to the United States. And like I said, I have lived here now 20 years. All of these 20 years, I have lived basically in Madison, Wisconsin. So since I immigrated here, I have been very active in the community. So I'm a big volunteer within the community, being a big brother, big sister. I go to schools, mentor kids, talk to them about life and what probably could be good choices as they navigate this very complex community of the United States. I also volunteer with other groups, including the AIDS network, where I go to people who have HIV and AIDS, help them with their chores, take them on appointments to their doctors, go groceries for them, and all this other stuff. Also, I'm a member of the 100 Black Men in Madison, Wisconsin. So I am generally all over the place, just trying to help people. Also, I used to be an interpreter in some of the African languages at the hospitals with immigration, but also at our unemployment department to help immigrants who generally are not, in many cases, do not speak English. So this is what I have been doing. So it was in 2014 that I decided to run for a political office here in Madison, Wisconsin.
Then you are a man that I would call a man of United Nations. You are doing a lot. Now, when I was researching about you, there is something that really it came across that I saw on the internet, and that says that you walked 6 miles to school and 6 miles back, and it was just because of your determination to have education. When a lot of your colleagues in the village were just learning Arabic and just not having a normal education, you just decided that you are going to take that journey of going to school 6 months. And some of even your family members try to discourage you, but at such a young age, you never bashed down. What was what were you thinking? What really made you to really decide that you are going to walk 6 miles to school?
Yeah. So, as we here in the West or in some parts of Africa also, we talk about role model. Like, who is your role model? Who are you looking up to? What do you want to do when you grow up and things like that? Growing up in rural Gambia, there wasn't many role model apart from your parents that you look up to, or family members, or, things like that. But I was not that person who was very, interested in going after cattle or going to the farm. And so I don't know, naturally, I think I came up with love for Western education based off of what I saw around with people who were extension workers. The way they live life was basically how I was thinking I should live life when I grow up. I couldn't name one person that was my inspiration or one person who was my role model, but just seeing what was happening around me with regards to those people was really what inspired me to be interested in education. Some of the my age mates who were also asked to go to school end up dropping out. I was always very interested in Western education, and the 6 mile trek did not discourage me from it. In fact, if anything, it motivated me to even work extra hard. The fact that I'm spending that time trekking one way 6 miles and another way other 6 miles.
So do you think role models are very critical in our lives, and how important is it, especially in our generation?
So I think it is important that in life you have people that you look up to. It's difficult on your own without a reference point to know exactly what you want to do. So either as a person, you will have somebody that you look at as a role model, or a trait that you would like to be a part of when you grow up. And so in sometimes that is very challenging. Like I said, from our part of the world, generally our role models are our parents or our grandparents, the people who bring us up. But in the West, it's different. So if you want to be a basketball player, for example, your role model may be Mike Jordan or LeBron's game or something like that. If you want to be a successful politician or things of that nature, you may be looking for Barack Obama type of thing in the United States. That being said, Africa also has very, very, very good role model. For example, if you look at the political domain and the human rights part of it, Nelson Mandela and others, the independence of Africa, Kwame Nkrumah and others. So, but growing up in rural Gambia, one hardly have access to that kind of information. So you are limited within your locality as to who you look up to. But I do think everybody in life should have that role model, or at least a trait that they inspire to be a part of. In many cases, growing up, people will talk about being a doctor and things like that, a scientist and things like that. And so, yes, it is important that we look around and see an inspiration not only to yourself but others, and find a way to make that as an inspiration for yourself.
Wow, that really sounds interesting. Now you are tagged as a person that is very curious, and your curiosity always takes you to the next stage of your life. What role has curiosity? What role has it got to play in our lives that you think it has really helped you, and because it has helped you, it can help others?
I'll call it not only curiosity, but believing in myself. I think all of us should look around us and ask questions. And you cannot look around you and ask questions if you are not curious. So, for example, I saw a typewriter after I went to high school. I saw a computer after I graduated from high school. So I had no idea how these things work or how they came about, basically. Just by reading books, and even reading those books, sometimes you have to pick up a dictionary to better understand what you're reading. And so I never get an opportunity to, for example, interact with computers. When I immigrated to the United States, I know in my heart I like to help other people, but my curiosity was on technology, and so I decided to pursue computer science as a career. But what I would like to speak to generally is self-esteem. I think that is really what helps people to move forward in what they believe in. In many cases, there's a lot of challenges, particularly to Africans, but African Americans, if you're talking about the United States. Slavery has a lot of impact with regards to how we see ourselves, but how much we also believe in ourselves. Unconscious issues around what slavery has done to us. I know some people may not like this, but skin bleaching, for example, in my opinion, black person, for example. There may be other reasons why people do it, but to me, that all speak to our self-consciousness, but also self-esteem as a people. If you look at the West here, and then you look at the African American, many African Americans, when they speak on television or others, the same thing. We hardly relate well to our own brothers and sisters in the United States. So all this speaks to how we have become divided as a result of slavery, but also the history that came after that. Who is writing the history? Who's teaching the history? Beyond curiosity, in my opinion, is also having that self-esteem, believing in yourself, that in fact nobody is better than you in this world. I may know more about computer science, but you may know about the television world, and therefore that makes us equal in somehow. So that is how I look at the world. That's how I navigate it. That if I can convince myself that this is the right thing to do, then I try to do it. I believe in myself 100%. I do not look for validation from other people or from white people, if you may. I believe that I have what it takes to live this world in a way to be productive to humanity, and that's what my part is here. The challenge I've taken on myself.
You made mention of validation, and I think validation is a big problem, especially on the African continent. Even when you look at our leaders, they look for validation from other leaders from the Western world for them to be confident in whatever they are doing. How can we overcome that?
So I think the world is very complicated. I think if you look at it, Africa has all the natural resources that the world needs, basically. Everything that you need to develop as a nation or as a global village, Africa has. What Africa lacks really is, in many cases, is good leadership, but also understanding the nitty-gritty of this world. The world is very complicated. The world is so complicated. If you look at Africa, it's not even about validation. It's about what life do we live. The world is complicated, and religion is very important. I like to, say a little bit about religion. Africa, in my opinion, is very religious. There's nothing wrong with that. As an individual, if I believe in God, whether that is the God of Christian or the God of Islam or whatever God I believe, I, as an individual, can invest my time the way I see fit. But I do think if we have to succeed in this world, we also have to invest a lot of time in this world. What I see happening is that we are investing most of our time outside of this world. I mean, which, like I said, I am not saying to be very religious is bad, but I think having a balance is also important. The other thing I would like to say is really we need to understand the formula that makes this world be successful. For example, look at the Gambia. We get independent in the 1950s or 60s, I would say. Up to now, electricity is not guaranteed. Up to now, road network is not guaranteed. Up to now, internet connection like me and you are going to be able to have a good conversation is not guaranteed. Up to now, clean water is not guaranteed. And this is not only Gambia. Go to Ghana. I just came back from Nigeria about a year or so ago. These problems are all over Africa. Let's invest. If we have to live on planet Earth for at least however many years each of us live, let's invest some time here. Let's understand the world. The world is very complicated, but the white man has understood it. They know there's a formula to follow. Why is it that we are not united on items or on issues that are critical to all of us? Nigeria, for example, is the fifth largest oil supplier to the United States. If they could bring few powerful African countries and have a message that says to the United States, you should never call our countries SHIT holes. And you should never treat our black people the way you are treating them, where a white person can chokehold somebody or kneel on somebody's neck until they die. America will do something. But Africa is not united. We need to elect leaders that know how to lead. We need to elect leaders who are educated. We need to elect leaders who understand the complexity of the world. If we fail to do this, imagine, since this world started, since the existence of humanity, where is Africa up to now? That is because, in my opinion, it's not about validation. It's about believing in ourselves. That, in fact, we don't have to be told we are something. I went to majority of my schooling here. And a good number of people I went to school with are white people. But I couldn't see the difference as being a black person that in terms of our intellects and capability and in terms of education. So we have it all. Let's believe in ourselves. But that the world is very complex. Let's elect complex-minded people, fair-minded people, people who are real true servant of the people, and not people who are just interested in the position and things like that.
Yes, people that are just interested in the positions. But you are making a good point. For example, Gambia is like only 1.8 million people, isn't it?
Yes.
And when
I am not sure exactly what the number is, but yes.
Yeah, maybe even if we say 2 million or let's say 2.5 million.
Right.
So when you look at Lagos, Lagos is like maybe 20 million or so over just in Lagos.
Yes.
So look at Gambia. The question is that how can such a small country, how can we not create a platform for everybody to really have a good life, have electricity, have water, have all the necessities of life? How difficult is it?
Yep. So because we refuse to believe, first of all, we refuse to invest on this planet Earth. When I went to Nigeria, when I was going into Abuja, to the left, going into Abuja, I saw the biggest church, a mighty church that I have never seen in the United States. A church. The pastor there has a helicopter that flies him around, a plane. People cannot afford to buy food and eat or sell to their kids, but they can go give a lot of naira to a church or a mosque. If you have the money, yes, do it. But should that be your priority, to go and give money and you cannot even afford food to eat or to give food to your family? So the problem is, I mean, you cannot quantify the problems. They are all over the place. But Africa is also very divided if it comes to even tribal stuff. We must have to look at the people that we elect based off of the quality that they brings to the table. It shouldn't be that somebody belongs to a certain ethnic group, and therefore, no matter what Samba brings, I am blindly supporting Samba. So we have turned to just focusing too much on religion, which I said is, you know, I mean, if you can do it as an individual, fine. To just ethnic and tribal division. We saw what happened in Rwanda and all this other stuff. We must also elect people who understand the complexity of the world.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, so I mean, there are tons of problems. So for Gambia, for example, the road networks that you reference, the roads that we have in my city, just the city that I am now representing one of its districts, the roads we have can be, we don't need this amount of roads in the Gambia. The whole of Gambia do not need these roads that we have in just our city. And all our money basically is coming from taxpayer, from our taxes, the taxes that we pay. The federal government, yes, because we are a federal country, those also give money to a road network, just because it's not only our city who are using these roads, but people across the country uses it. But the amount of roads that we have, if we have that in Gambia, we'll have extra, and we probably can give that to Ghana or some other place. The amount of electricity that we consume in the city, then Gambia can consume it. Because the amount of electricity that household consume in the United States is about 5 times a developing country household. So what is holding us? Africa has basically at least 12 to 15 hours of sunlight. It's not like they have to invent solar technology.
No.
All you do is implement, make budgets that can address this problem. It's only in Africa. It's only in Africa that people see problems and they don't find a way to fix it. If people are complaining they don't want to live in a house that has no electricity or clean water or something, they have governments to blame. They have government to go after. But who is holding government accountable? Who is going there and letting these governments know that this must be fixed? How do we present our budgets to our people, the people who elected us? Why is it that we cannot be clear on some of the problems? And none of this need to be invented. All these things is out there. Solar energy is out there. All this clean energy is out there. Africa, like I said, has 13 to 15 hours of sunlight. Why can't we have electricity? Why can't we have electricity? Why can't we have clean water? Without those things, we cannot develop. Why can't we have institutions like we have here, where people will go and do research on COVID and come up with a cure for it, or at least a preventive measure for it? But even with this COVID, everybody is relying on the West from the African perspective. We are wanting to have more COVID cases so we can get more money from the World Health Organization or other Western countries. America, for example, cannot control its COVID. But West African countries are sitting there thinking that America or the UN or the World Health Organization will give them more money when they count more COVID. It is high time. It is high time that African leaders represent their people. It is high time African electorates elect the right people. It is high time African electorates hold their elected official accountable. Without that, we are
Wow,
doomed
that
for
really
this.
sounds.
This is it, Africa. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that really sounds
Go ahead.
interesting. Now, what made you to go into politics?
Yep. So, like I said, back home, I was also a volunteer in the Gambia. I started a youth organization and was very active locally, advocating for political parties that I believe were the best political party to run the country. Distributing their newspapers, going in small group and politicking. And then when I came here, it's the same thing. In fact, when I came here the first year, I was struggling to go to school, pay fees and all that kind of stuff, but I was still sponsoring kids in Gambia through social welfare. So I was contributing $25 every month to help kids that I don't know, that I will never meet, to help them go to school, because I knew what it meant when I was going to that boarding school and some of the kids got scholarship. Some didn't go to a high school after passing the common entrance 3 times because their parents could not afford to send them. So I saw what scholarship did to help those people be productive members, not only of the Gambian society, but other societies abroad. When I moved to the United States, I continue doing the same thing. Like I said, I go to school and mentor kids. I go to churches and talk to people about coming together, that this divisiveness is just for some political people to get their way. It has nothing to do with anything. In 2012, 13, and 14, if you pay attention to American politics, there was a very high tension between law enforcement and people of color. And so you will see people of color being killed, just like with Floyd, and they will not even see a courtroom. And so I didn't believe this was right. But I also knew that just demonstrating in the street will not fix this. This is more of a legislation issue than it is a social problem alone. So I decided that, I have to try and do something about this. I started exploring. What I did was to reach out to my elected officials and say, look, this is what is happening. I don't think this is right. I believe this is not right. Well, what can you do about this? In many cases, they tell me the same story. We are doing this, we are doing that. And I said, look, that has been done for over 400 years now, and nothing is changing. We must have to do something different. So as a result of that, but also just being in my own local community and knowing what people are going through, particularly people of color. You cannot drive 2-3 days, 2-3 months without a police officer pulling you. What is your name? Who owns this car? And crazy things like that. So I believe in myself that the best way to really tackle this is to be at the table. So that's how I decided to run in 2014, and in 2015, April, when I was first elected to council. It was close. I ran against somebody who was there for 5 times. And so I was able to beat him by just about 32 votes. But if I didn't try, if I didn't believe in myself, I wasn't going to do anything. I would have been sitting here and see Black people treated way that they shouldn't be treated. And I know the impact my running for office in this city has in particularly residents of color.
So in a nutshell, what it means is that for you to be an influencer or to be in an influential position, you must be there to influence, isn't it? So you have to take the leadership mantle so that you can be in a position of influence, right?
Yeah, so I think the best way to put it is to say, if you are not at the table, then you are on the table. That is to say, if you are not part of the decision-making process, then you must be the menu. So you rather be at the decision-making table than be the menu. And so reality is that diversity gives you better product. A different mindset, different thinking, different experiences of this world will give you a better product than a non-diverse group. In all these fronts.
Wow. If you, from your background, from Africa, your accent, the existence of racism, did it ever cross your mind that there is no way you can win?
Yeah, so the thing is, like I said from the beginning, you must have to believe in yourself. And when you believe in yourself, there is nothing in this world that can stop you. You are your own barrier to your success. Not only do I have an accent coming from Africa, but I'm a black person with tribal marks. I can easily be distinguished. I am also a Muslim, and you know what that means in the United States. So being a Muslim, being an African American, being an African immigrant, somebody with an accent could all be an impediment for you to succeed. But that is if you don't believe in yourself, because those are not the qualities in my brain. Those are natural artifacts that I didn't choose. What I have is my brain, and what I have is really believing in myself. I didn't choose to be a black person. So the white people didn't choose to be white people. I didn't choose to come from Gambia, and I generally was born in a Muslim family. So in essence, I didn't choose to be a Muslim. But I know I have my brain, and I know either luckily or just that's how it works for everybody, that I believe in myself and I believe in my people. And I also am committed to making sure that at least I find a way to make this world a better place than the way I found it. And so those has been my driving forces and my inspiration, that any and everything is possible if you give it your best. And I believe that from the bottom of my heart, but at the core of it, you have to believe in yourself. You don't have to wait for validation from anybody else. For I do not believe anybody is better than the other. I think we are all equal. Like I said, you could be a better a broadcaster or a journalist, but I may be also a better engineer or something. And so that really balances us out, because all those skill sets are needed in our human society.
Wow, that's really powerful. Now, I saw one of your quotes, and to be honest, I was like, this quote is really powerful. And I quote you, say, I cannot change people's life, particularly those who are most impacted, then I didn't think I will have a good legacy. Do you think a lot of leaders in our generation are really going into leadership roles to really have a good legacy that is going to impact the lives of the people that they are leading?
Yeah. So my current job, I mean, outside of politics, I'm, like I said, I am a manager at a Fortune 500 company, an IT project manager now. I make a 6-digit salary. If I am elected, I will barely make half of that. Before I ran for city council, my myself and a friend has an IT consulting company we are making in excess of $1 million income to the business. But I decided that I can get all the money I want to get in this world, but I will still be a black person. I can get all the money that I want to get in this world, but I will still be seen as an African American. I can get all the money that I want to get in this world, but I'll still be seen as an African, with all the negative connotations that come with the things that I've just said, and I'll be seen as a Muslim American. So therefore, what do I do to make sure that if people see me as a Muslim American, as an African American, as an immigrant, they still are proud of that. They still hold me at a high esteem. If I tell them I'm from Africa, if they see a black person, that person also is respected and treated like they are equals. So my journey, my life cannot be fulfilled if I am not working hard to make sure that we all live an equal life, a life of respect, that in fact, it shouldn't matter what skin color you came into this world. In fact, it shouldn't matter where you came from in terms of this world. So for me, it's more about what I do for humanity. I will not consider myself successful if I cannot really bring about change within my community, particularly here where I live, but generally in the whole world. I mean, I do think that I may be just small little Samba, a Fulani guy from Gambia, and that what can this guy do? But those who built the plane, those who went to space, Martin Luther King and others, were also just individuals who just worked hard and was able to make some impact. I think if all of us can find a way to make this world a better place, then it will be a better place for all of us. But if we all decide to focus on ourselves and our immediate families, then it will be what it is, particularly for us in Africa and us here as Black people.
Wow. I don't actually know what to say, but for you to really give up everything, and because you want to really leave a good legacy, I think it's one of the most, isn't it one of the most difficult decisions for any person to make, especially as an immigrant, that you have so much to achieve, looking for your family, immediate family, and those back home. Don't you think it's a very, very difficult decision? Was it a difficult decision to make?
Well, yep. I mean, I'm sure it is difficult for a lot of people. But reality is, in fact, you cannot be a person of faith, for example, without wanting to bring everybody along. It is a very common saying in most of the religious books, that do unto others as you would like them to do unto you. That treat your next door neighbor as you would treat yourself. So when I drive around in the United States and I see people sleeping on the bridges and I see people sleep in the street, I travel to Africa and I see kids holding small pots asking for food to eat. I go to airports in Africa and I am treated in my own continent as if I am a foreigner or that I even does not belong there. So these are all injustices that I cannot just go to bed without finding a way to do something about them. And I don't think any one of us should. It is very easy to focus on your own family. Like I said, if I were to focus on my own family and my family, but at the end of the day, Oscar, say for example, you are 80 years old, 90 years old, and you reflect on your life and ask yourself, in fact, Oscar, what did I do all my life on planet Earth? And you realize that all you did was to put food on the table for you and your family alone. Despite thousands of kids in Africa, for example, who have no access to food, despite thousands and thousands of people in the United States, particularly people of color, who are sleeping outside and their kids are being incarcerated because they didn't get an opportunity when they are growing up as kids to be directed as to what is right and what is wrong. To an extent, they end up in the prison systems. So think about that. How will you feel about whatever other world that you believe in? If you believe in that when we die, there's an other world, how will you feel that all you did was just provide for your own self and your family, but you prayed to this God that you believe in, but the God that brought those people on planet Earth, you refuse to help, or at least even if you don't receive, you didn't even try to help. So tell me how you feel in those last days of your life. So that is my thing. I may not be successful in what I really want to accomplish before I die, but if I sit there 90 years, 100 years, or however long I live, and I said to myself, yes, Sambo, you did try. I mean, all you could do was try. And so you are successful in certain aspect, you fail in certain aspect, then I'll feel comfortable going wherever that next world is. But I wouldn't be comfortable without being working on these issues.
This is, I wish African leaders will be really listening to you on this, because most of them, what they are doing is just amassing wealth, and most of them even die before even enjoying the wealth. Sometimes when I look at some president, like the president of Uganda, I'm like, when are you going to go off the seat and enjoy life with your family? And I think these are some of the things. And I think, look, kudos to you. You got an amazing, powerful mindset, a mindset to change lives. You are putting lives over wealth. And I think there is a way that God, in his own way, paid those people back in his own special way. Now, what plans do you have for Africa? Because when I look at it, you have got so much plans for the United States. You as a person, what plans do you have for Africa?
So I would, instead of plan, I would say what I wish for Africa. What I wish for Africa generally is that let's sit back and take a break and let's think about ourselves. Let us all think about our immediate surrounding in Africa and ask ourselves this. Is this what we really ought to be? Is this where we really want to be right now? And ask ourselves, can we change this? Or is this destiny for the rest of humanity? If we can all sit and take a moment and think about our immediate surrounding and what is happening around us as Africans, whether it is in the continent of Africa or anywhere else in the diaspora. Like I said, the world is complicated and very detailed in many cases, but also the world is inhabited by human beings, and all the complexity or lack of it is by humans to a certain extent. So I would say, I would challenge every African, including asking ourselves, is this where we want to be as Black people? Is this where we want to be as Africans? For right now, a lot of people ask me, why didn't you go back to Gambia and run for politics? Why didn't you go back to Gambia and do business? Why didn't you go back to Gambia and do all this kind of stuff? For right now, I am a Black man who lives in America, and America is my home. Madison, Wisconsin is where I reside. Yes, I have family in Gambia. I have friends. I have Gambia as my country. I love it like no other place. But I would say what I am doing right now is to focus on my community here. And I know that has impact also one way or the other in Gambia or other parts of Africa. I told you about a year or so ago, I was in Nigeria to work with their elected representatives, but also their leaders. Here at the university, I am a board member of the Young African Leaders Initiative. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but this is where The United States bring about 700 young Africans to the United States every year and work with institutions on policies and processes and things like that. So I'm a board member at the university. Just about 3 weeks or so ago, I had a Zoom meeting with young people all around Africa, including community leaders and faith leaders and politicians. And this is the message I give them. If you want to be respected, you alone cannot be respected. What you are is what has to be respected.
Wow.
So let us all commit to making this world a better place from wherever perspective you're coming from. I know as a result of me being the council president here, or at least being in the Madison City Council, the workforce has changed. Now it's more diverse than it was before. For example, we have a Ghanaian who is the chief of staff at our city council now. We have a Cameroonian who is the deputy mayor of our city here. So things are changing. And that has direct impact in Africa. When I was elected, the Madison City had a sister city program that existed for over 30 years. Of all these 30 years, there was no one sister city in Africa. When I was elected, one of the committees that I chose to serve on was the Sister City Collaboration Committee. And so we were able to have a sister city in Gambia in the name of Kanifing. And then eventually I was able to get another sister city in Ethiopia in the town of Bahirda. So wherever we are, let's work hard from that perspective and see how we can impact the world. So that is my approach. As somebody who's just interested in making things better for everybody, I cannot tell you tomorrow this is what is going to be my next step, or tomorrow this is what I'll go do for Africa or my own community. I take it one day at a time, but I am committed to putting in the time.
Wow, I'm committed to putting the time. Now, talk to me about your hopes, your aspirations for you vying for the Democratic candidate as Assembly District in 48.
Yeah, so obviously politics in America is very interesting. The time we spend here is very precious. The difference that I see in many cases between African politics and American politics is how it is run. So for example, as a candidate, I am also very busy fundraising, asking the people who will elect me to fund my campaign. In Africa, it's the opposite. You go to the people who will elect you and give them money and ask them to elect you. And so, I just don't get that. But anyway, that's how it works. So what I am focused on right now is the primary. So it's 4 of us who are running as Democratic candidates. So we have primaries this August 11th, so that whoever wins the primary is the one going to the November elections. There's also one Republican candidate, so the winner of the Democratic primary is going to face the Republican candidate in November. So I'm working hard to make sure that I get to August 11th successfully and be the candidate to represent the Democratic Party in the November elections. So what we are doing right now is really we are doing a lot of digital work. You understand we are in the COVID season, and right now COVID era, as you may call it. So we just about 2 days or so ago imposed mask wearing as mandatory within the county here. So we are not able to go to people and talk to them as we generally will do, knock doors and drop literature and have conversation with people. So we have transitioned that to a digital world. If you follow me on Facebook and all, Instagram, Twitter and all that, I do tons of posting every day to connect with my constituents and also my electorate to tell them what my platform is and all that kind of stuff. So we have a website where people can go. It's Samba and the number 4 for State Assembly, sambaforstateassembly.com. You can see the issues that I am running on. You can also, if you live in the United States or particularly in Madison, you can volunteer. You don't have to live in Madison to volunteer. You have to live in the United States or at least be a United States citizen to do certain things. So you can go there and see what we are doing, what we stand for, our platform, and all this kind of stuff. So we are also focused right now on talking to other elected officials and all that for endorsement and things, and that is going pretty well. I have conducted on a daily basis at least an average of 3-4 interviews every day, and responded to questionnaires at least about 3-4 every day. So American politics is really is cumbersome, is a difficult process. But look, if we have to be the change that we inspire, we have to start with ourselves. And that is why I'm putting myself out there. So I am hopeful that the District 48 people will see me as their candidate and give me the opportunity to represent them come August 11th.
For me, what I would say is that you have already won, because my spirit tells me that you have already won. And when I look at the works that you are doing, I'm like, man, this man deserves it. And what I would say to everybody that will be watching now or be watching this interview later, what I would say is that, look, I'm stamping my stamp on Mr. Alda Samba. So you also do the same, because we need more like to really change the face of how Black people are seen, and also make an impact for people
and empower.
Yes, welcome back to Step Out with Oscar Bimpong, and we had a few technical hitch, but Mr. Aldas is back, and we are just wrapping up. Time is already spent. Our time is up, and so before we go now, I just want to really talk about the sponsors of the program, and this program is sponsored by Train to Inspire Consultancy. That is your business training and consulting firm. Also, P&Q Personnel, your #1 agency for hiring healthcare assistants and nurses based in the UK. ALS Global Shipping and Logistics, your trusted import and export company based in Accra. ZPay Ghana Limited, your remittance and mobile money company based in Ghana. Kudu Business Support, your web or graphic design, app development, and for all your social media management. If you want to contact any of these organizations, their numbers are scrolling on the screen. Connect to them, and if you tell them you took it from T2i TV, you are more likely to get a good deal. Now, Mr. Samba, please welcome back. But before you go, I want us to wrap up. What is your last word to people that are really watching you? Your last word to the people of Madison, and your last word to the people of Africa?
Yep. So to those who are watching, I would say thank you for tuning in. Oscar, you are doing an excellent job. And so you are also very professional in what you are doing. I appreciate that. I think we all move the world forward in different ways. Journalism and this kind of education is overly needed all over the world. So thank you for what you do, and keep doing it the best you can. To those Africans, I would say, look, we are challenged. But we are capable to face the challenge. So I would say, let each and every one of us look around on us and ask ourselves the questions that I referenced earlier. What am I doing about this situation? What is it that I am not doing? How can I make this world a better place? How do I contribute to my community, to my neighborhood, to those who are struggling? To my American constituents, if they are watching, is that August 11th is the Democratic primary. And so I ask for your vote. Already absentee ballots are out. I have been doing texting. Our team has been doing texting to over 7,000 people. The response is super positive. So if you've received your absentee ballot, I am asking for your vote if you have not already voted. If you have not received your absentee ballot, soon there will be a curbside voting or early voting. So once those locations are identified, we will find a way to communicate. But vote. People fought for voting as well in this country. At some point, Black people particularly could not vote, women as well. So it is important that we all vote. And so I ask for your vote on April 11th. If you win that, then I ask for a vote in November. But I thank everybody for making the time to watch this conversation. I am looking forward to more of this with Oscar.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alda Samba Balda. We are also very pleased. I know you already be getting popular in Ghana as well, and hope to really take you to Ghana one of these days as well. If you've been to Nigeria, then Nigeria, they are our brothers, they are our next door neighbors. Absolutely. So you just cross the border and come to Ghana.
Yep. No, obviously, the next time I go to Nigeria, I'll find time to go to Ghana. Who knows? I may just visit Ghana directly. But honestly, my intent is to visit many countries in Africa. So I'll take you on the invite whenever I'm heading that way.
Don't worry at all, and I'll also be there for you as well. And to all of us that have been watching us, this is Mr. Alda Samba Balda. He is a Democratic candidate for State Assembly 48, and he is doing amazingly well in the Madison area in terms of impacting lives, showing great leadership, a son of Africa, not a son from the city of Africa, but from a village, walked 6 miles to school and back, determined in life, 20 years, being in the US for 20 years, and now making all of us believe, especially those of us in diaspora, that we think that it cannot be done because of our accent, because of racism, because of our background. We think that it cannot be done. It is always possible if only you believe. That is my mantra. You just have to step into the deep waters, and before you realize, you will conquer. So we need to take these inspirational stories and go out there and pursue our visions, believing that if Mr. Alda can do it, if Mr. Samba can do it, I can also do it. I've taken a lot of positives from this discussion, and I believe that a lot of people that will be watching, that are watching and will be watching this later, they are also going to be inspired to believe that as Africans and as Black people, whether in diaspora or in Africa, we can still make a difference. We can still succeed against all odds, and we can still make the impact that we want to make. He says he wants to really make a very good legacy. I also want to follow his steps and also make a very good legacy. He said we all can operate in different ways, make different impact, but in synergy, we are going to make a greater impact. And these days, it doesn't matter. Distance is not an issue because of internet. That is why he is in the States, I'm in London, and we are still having a very good chat. Believe in yourself and go out there and pursue your vision. Thank you very much, Mr. Samba, once again. And we are happy to have you, and we will host you one more time and another time and another time.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you, Oscar. I really appreciate the conversation, the opportunity to be here with you and all your viewers. Again, I hope we can do this again and many more times after that. So thank you very much. I really enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you very much. And for all those that spend your time to really watch us, God richly bless you. We are coming on Saturday. Saturday, I've got 2 programs. One is the Step Out SME Focus, where I'm going to interview the Deputy Director of ZPay Ghana Limited, disrupting the market with remittance. And also, I'm going to interview Bernard Entry. We are going to continue our discussion on African Pathway to Freedom, Part 2. So we have got double, that is 2 interviews on Saturday. You can't afford to miss it. This is the place that are called the Knowledge Hub for Africans and for those in Africa and diaspora. Stay blessed. and see you on Saturday, 7 p.m. GMT. Bye-bye.
Right, bye-bye.
I believe that you are able to do exceedingly abundantly, far above all I could ask or think. Believe, yes, I believe. You say, I believe that you are able to do exceedingly abundantly, far above all I could ask or think.
Excited because the Step Out TV shows are back live on T2i TV. And for those who don't know, Step Out is a series of interviews and motivational segments designed to bring the best out of you and your business. Therefore, we have the following TV programs. Our first TV program, which is our flagship program, dubbed Step Out with Oscar Bimpong, is designed to interview consultants, experts, talented people, and those doing exceptionally well in their communities. The second one is Step Out SME Focus. This is where we interview business owners and showcase their products and services. The third one is Step Out Youth Impact Zone. This is where we interview young people succeeding against all odds to serve as an inspiration to other young people. And the last one is Step Out Authors Corner. And this is where we interview authors to share what their book is about to the world. Join us every week at 7 p.m. GMT. Like T2i TV on Facebook and subscribe to the YouTube channel. To advertise or for further information, do WhatsApp +44 759 1152 983 or +233 55 580 3924 or email info@traintoinspire.com. T2i TV. We engage, educate, enlighten, and empower.